Hi guys, this is my review for Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. I played about 13 hours recently. I played 40 hours when it first came out. I never really beat it, but I didn't have the time then. Now I do. Dragon's Dogma 2 is coming out soon, and I'm really actually excited about it. So here are my thoughts about Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. Let's start right off talking about the combat. When you're fighting against larger enemies, the combat can get a little bit repetitive because it's mostly target the weak spot, do as much damage as you can to them while they're vulnerable, and repeat that whole process basically until they're dead. But while that does feel repetitive for some enemies, it's not that way for them all. And figuring out the specific way to defeat these enemies is actually really satisfying. But some enemies are just too tough for your team to handle. And the game practically tells you all the time that if an enemy is too tough for you, don't try and fight it, just run away. If, of course, you can. Poof. Game over. And just like that, you learn not to mess with that enemy for a while. This is not like a typical beat your head against the wall, you can do it if you just try hard enough, get good type of game. You do need skill to win and even just survive against some of these enemies. But if you're not leveled up enough, if your gear isn't strong enough, you just simply won't be able to even do damage. And that brings me to our next topic. Vocations. There are 3 starting vocations: Fighter, Strider, and Mage, and each of those have a branching subclass, basically, that gives them more advanced skills. Like, for my Strider, I can go Magic Archer to, do a lot of damage at range, or an Assassin, which is what I chose, because I like to run away and hide if stuff gets too scary. And no matter what vocation you select, they're all pretty powerful, even though the Strider is by far the most OP. It's really just up to your, own personal playstyle and your play preference, because your pawns, which is the next thing I'm going to talk about, really make up for a lot of the things that your personal class may lack. AI companions is a bigger thing more and more every year as AI improves, but for some reason this game from 2012 does AI companions better than basically every other game even up to this point. And sure, some games like Dragon Age Inquisition or Mass Effect or Monster Hunter World by Capcom do a lot of great things with their companions. But I think what makes the pawn system extra special in Dragon's Dogma is the community. Because as you can see here in the beginning of the game, you can create your own main pawn, customized to be the thing that you lack. So I chose a fighter because I'm a strider and I want somebody to take some hits for me and so I don't die as much. And the pawn creator system is even more in depth than the character creation system, because you have to answer 4 questions to how you want that pawn to behave. And then once that pawn is created, other players can then hire your pawn to join them on their journey. And I think that is the coolest part, because your pawn isn't just joining them, and their pawn, when you hire them, isn't just joining you. They're bringing along all of the experiences that they have from their main game. And your pawn is teaching their pawn. So say I get further in the game than my buddy Teeds, who made that character Humdrum. His pawn will bring back intelligence from my game to help him in his playthrough. And you can hire multiple pawns, so you can have basically all the information from multiple other players' playthrough to help you in your game. It's just super helpful information like that I really appreciate about the pawn system in Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, and I'm really looking forward to the upgrades that they said they're doing to the pawn system for Dragon's Dogma number 2. Let's move on to exploration. Dragon's Dogma does not hold your hand. There's no real quest markers saying here's where the goal is. There's no consistent loot for you to find. It changes every single time. One time you loot a chest, it could be a bottle of oil. The next time, it could be a dope ring. And there's treasure chests everywhere, and you're going to die a lot, so that makes the exploration a lot of fun. I suggest if you loot something really good, save your game right away, because if you die and you go back to the same area, chances are it won't be the same item. Personally, I've had a lot of fun going into high-level areas that are just way too tough for me and just looting as many chests as I can, finding what treasures the place has, hoping that the higher-level area has better loot. And I was right, it does. That's how I have these dope daggers and this dope bow and arrow, is I just ran through high-level areas and looted all their treasure chests, and I probably died 100 times, but I ended up with better gear than I would have gotten if I was just playing the game regularly. And that's the main point, really, that I want to get get across is the world is open to free to explore as you wish, with nothing really holding you back other than maybe your health pool.
Oh!
In conclusion, Dragon's Dogma offers a captivating and immersive gaming experience that successfully blends the best elements of action RPGs. Its expansive open world, dynamic combat system, and innovative pawn system contribute to a unique and engaging adventure. While some technical issues and dated graphics may be noticeable, the overall depth of the gameplay and the richness of the fantasy world make these minor drawbacks easy to overlook. In the end, Dragon's Dogma proves to be a standout title for fans of action RPGs, offering a rich tapestry of exploration, combat, and storytelling. With its flaws being overshadowed by the sheer enjoyment and depth it provides, I confidently rank Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen as certified tight. Thank you for watching. As an added bonus, I created my wife and I in the Dragon's Dogma 2 character creator. Hope you enjoy, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Humdrum. He's kinda good at video games.